Okay, let me also bring in Mr. Nair into this conversation. Mr. Nair, this entire banking system has been emphasized upon. Let's have him on screen. How central do you think is the banking system to sustaining this kind of a momentum, the kind of momentum that we have seen in India growing as one of the major economies of the world?
See, somebody has to finance the growth. And who can finance the growth in this country? It is the banking system that will eventually have to rise up and finance the growth, right? If you look at, if you step back and look at the history, I think typically the banking sector grows as per the nominal GDP growth. And if you are, the country has its own ambition of becoming a Vikasit Bharat by 2047, I think we are looking at something like a $30 trillion economy, an $18,000 to $20,000 per capita, and somebody has to take the bill. If the government cannot entirely do that, I think there's going to be a lot of investments happening in the infrastructure. Government, driving the infrastructure lending. And there's a lot of activity that will happen in the manufacturing sector. By 2047, we are looking at the current. The share of manufacturing sector in the GDP growth at 16%, we are looking at ramping it up to 25%. That's the ambition of the government. That is the ambition of the country. Somebody has to finance it, right? And that's where the banking system steps in. And that's where I think we are going to see a lot of activity happening.
And so do you think, Mr. Nair, that the banking system, the Indian banking system has become stronger in the last decade? What has fundamentally changed?
Absolutely. I think today's the banking sector is certainly much stronger than what it was 10 years ago. Just take a step back and look at where we were 10 years back. After the asset quality review of December 2015, and the kind of NPAs that mounted subsequently, I think the banking sector was faced with 11% NPA. I think for the first time, the largest bank in the country reported a loss because of the provision that it had to make. So 11% from 11% NPA to bring it down to a 2% kind of number that the industry is today sitting on is a complete, I would say, a sea change that we have seen. And today the banking sector is much more, from a balance sheet perspective, very strong. The NPA numbers are low, it is well capitalized, and it is all poised for growth.